Welcome back to the Blood Prison Shakedown, by the way. We're back, and we've got a great special guest, Chelsea Monheim. I had to do it.
You had to do it. I mean, like, why not?
I wouldn't have if you wouldn't have told me.
Yeah.
Chelsea's from the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse. That's where she calls her haunt home currently.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chelsea, welcome in. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Vic?
Oh, man. I'm loving it. Loving life in the prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can imagine. It's always so beautiful. I'm always taken aback every time I, come here. Like, even today was the first time I saw it with, raining and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful and so spooky. I'm like, I think it's even spookier with all the rain. I love it.
It is. It's better when it's gloomy and just like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just helps add. Like, we don't want rain during haunt season, but but the rain is like,
But it, gives it a little something.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, man. We talk nothing but Halloween, horror, and haunted houses.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do here, and that's why we bring in people like you. So where did it start? Where did it start for you? Like, when did your love for Halloween, where did that come from?
It's actually funny. Most people think I must have, loved Halloween my entire life just on, knowing me. But I was actually, scared of, everything as a kid.
Yeah.
I was scared of, the abominable snowman. I was terrified of things as a kid. It wasn't until I got into special effects makeup before, the big boom kind of happened on, TikTok and, YouTube and stuff like that, where I just saw people started doing these things. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. And so I started to play around with makeup, and then I started looking at movies a little bit differently of oh, okay, this is actually really cool seeing the special effects that people are doing. And I used to, fun fact, I used to have an intense fear of clowns. I used to have chlorophobia, which is the phobia of clowns. Couldn't be around them, so I always hated haunted houses, never wanted to go to them. And then eventually, I started to work for a haunted house, and I painted myself up as a clown, and that's my way of how I got over my fear of clowns. So it's the greatest exposure therapy you can think of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, you might as well, if you see yourself as one, then it can't be that scary, right? So that's good. The clown, it's so funny because there's just this divide. Either you love or hate clowns.
Yeah.
It's just funny that you brought that up. And then you are Chuckles the Clown.
I am Chuckles the Clown. My mom always said my clown name should have been Irony or something like that, just because I was so terrified of clowns for the longest time.
Where did that come from? When did Chuckles start? When did you create that character?
So Chuckles was created during my very first haunted attraction I worked at. It was a haunted hayride, and there was this poster that I found in the back rooms that said welcome, Chuckles the Clown, can't wait to eat you or meet you or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. And it was so cute, and I thought that was adorable. And so there was at one point where they put me in the clown scene, and I had a lot of fun, and I was like, oh, I would love to do this again. And so our next following year was the year of the clowns. And so basically it was kind of funny because I was told do a discount Harley Quinn, not an actual Harley Quinn, but similar, so we don't get copyrighted and whatnot. And that's how Chuckles got invented. And people would always be oh, Harley Quinn. I'm like, no, Chuckles the Clown, copyright.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
You don't want DC coming after you.
Yeah, no.
So then, if you weren't really into it at first, it kind of grew on you. Oh, this is kind of cool. What was the first, haunt you went through then, or even acted at? Where did that start for you?
So it's actually funny. The very first haunted attraction I ever went to, I went on my first date with my boyfriend, who now we just celebrated our 10.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yep, we've been together a long time. Our very first date was at a haunted hayride, and that's the same hayride that I ended up working 3 years later, I think.
There you go.
But yeah, it was I went through it once, and it was actually a lot of fun, minus the clown part, which was I was terrified of it at the time and stuff. But it was so much fun for me. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so awesome. And when it was years later, I was working my retail job, and I hated my retail job. Oh my goodness gracious. I want to get out of there so bad. So I took a leave of absence for a month to do something fun, work at even Spirit Halloween. I'd be happy.
Sure.
With, do that. But I applied to a bunch of haunted houses in my area, and I ended up getting a few offers from them because I showed them my special effects makeup. And so I went with one of them, and then the rest is history. It was only supposed to be one season, and then here I am almost 8 years later now.
Okay, so that was a hayride.
Yep.
Well, how long have you been at Akron?
3 years now, so this next year will be my 4th year.
Okay, so then can you say the hayride you worked at? Is it still going?
It's no longer in business anymore, just because like a lot of things, especially like with COVID, it was one of those things. It was hard to like bring that back because of COVID, and like the leases ran out and things of that nature. But it was called the Haunted Hayrides of Greater Rochester, and it was in Rochester, New York.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Is that where you're from originally?
Yep, I'm from Rochester, New York, so kind of an asshole, but that's okay.
I've never heard that. So, how many characters do you have? Other ones other than Chuckles the Clown? Do you do anything else?
I have Chuckles the Clown's the one that people most know me by. I have a character called Nexa, which was like my COVID character. So I had like a mask that I built that had like holes in it because people like were freaked out by like the tryptophobia, the fear of holes.
Yeah.
And that was my way of like being able to scare people from 6 feet away because I had like a really grotesque like looking face. And so I had Nexa that I did like I think 2 years. I do one of me and my friends, we are like candy stripers, so like nurses, like not actual nurses, but like we were wearing candy striper like outfits and stuff. And we do that together, and we like walk around and we like sing like songs together, which is really funny and really creepy. And then this past year, I started doing like an Evil Dead Rise character. So like the new Evil Dead Rise, like the mom in that. So I started doing like character based off of her, and that's been so much fun.
I bet.
So, oh my gosh, I've loved it. It's been horrifying to people, and it's awesome.
So do you rotate through those characters during haunt season, or do you just take them out at certain times, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I kind of rotate through season. Like I haven't done Nexa in a long time just because I don't have like the prosthetics for that. I need to get like the prosthetics again. But for like Chuckles, it's like especially like if I'm like a good night, high energy night, when I have the energy to do something like that, then I'm gonna bring out Chuckles because that's usually where people are asking for Chuckles. Like, oh, where's Chuckles at? And I'm like, okay, all right, I should bring her out. But other times like. Maybe if, like, my friend's in town, then I'll be the Candy Striper character with her. Or if I don't have as much energy but still want to be, like, creepy and walk around and stuff, then I'll do, like, the Evil Dead mom character. So it kind of, like, it depends on, like, my energy level and, like, what I'm feeling. But I kind of like to rotate because then I feel like it keeps me on my toes and keeps me, like, always getting better as an actor when I have, like, different situation to put myself in instead of like being in my comfort zone all the time. So this past year I really try to like push myself out of my comfort zone. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's if you have a roster of characters that you can go to, it's got to make it a little bit easier to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned I'm sorry, what was that last phobia you called?
Tryptophobia.
And that is
the fear of holes.
So
when you have
what
like
I thought you said.
Yeah, it's like the fear of like really tiny holes that are all next to each other. Like if you look at the microphone a little bit, like all those little holes and stuff, that could do it for some people, but it's more like circular holes that are really close together. If you look up pictures online, you'll see what I mean. It's creepy. Like some people don't like it. I almost made a few people like throw up because they saw it and they were just like disturbed by it.
What causes that?
You
know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I get clowns, you know what I mean? Like, when the It movie came out back in the 80s, like people, like the clown thing started getting like, oh my God, clowns are crazy. And then that, but fear of holes. So it'd be like, oh, I mean, that just seems silly to me. You know what I mean?
It seems silly, but like it's actually more common than you think that it actually is.
Yeah.
Like it does like weird some people out and stuff. And like I study psychology for like a living, so to get nerdy for a second, you can't have like just these negative associations. So a lot of times with like tryptophobia, it's like people are scared of like pathogens and diseases and like having holes in the body.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where that's kind of where it stems from, which is like kind of fun to think about.
I would be afraid if I had a bullet hole in me. I know that. I'd be like, I don't like this. You know what I mean? And that would suck. So I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
What other phobias? Come on, give me something else.
Oh my gosh.
Tryptophobia. Is there a phobia for doors?
There probably is. There's a fear for everything. Other common ones are like agoraphobia, which is the fear of like leaving your house or like public spaces and things of that nature. Chlorophobia is clowns. Tryptophobia is holes. Trying to think of the other ones.
That's gonna ring in my head forever.
You're gonna know this. Now you're gonna have that when someone like sees some holes and they're like, oh, I don't like that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you have tryptophobia.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna dig this hole right here just to freak you out. So you mentioned getting into the makeup side of things. When did you start doing you started that kind of from the beginning. have you honed that skill? I mean, do you do all your own makeup? Do you do other people's makeup? How's that work?
So I am one of the makeup artists at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. So I was really happy to be brought on as a makeup artist as well as an actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started like forever ago. Like even before I got into haunting, I was into makeup. Like I used to like, it's funny, I started doing like scary makeup before I did like pretty makeup type of thing. So like the makeup I'm wearing today, like this didn't come till after I was like into blood and gore and stuff like that. So usually people think usually it's the opposite way around. And so, so I got into that kind of makeup, and that's what prompted me to like get a job at like a haunted house and stuff like that. And then the very first haunt that I worked at, I was like the only makeup artist there. They didn't really have a makeup artist, and so I was trying to do as many people as I could a night, which was like chaotic and crazy, but I loved every second of it. Like I love that fast pace, like kind of like we gotta go, we gotta get this done, this needs to be done, we need like this person, this person, this person. Like I love that chaos. The next haunted attraction I worked at was Frightmare Farms in Syracuse, New York. I didn't do makeup there. I did my own makeup there, but I didn't do other people's makeup. And then when I returned to Akron, or went to Akron, that's when I started doing other people's makeup as well. And so usually I do my own makeup and I do other people's makeup there, but sometimes I like to feel pampered, and I have our head makeup artist, Gabrielle Franks. I have her do my makeup. She's amazing at it, and I'm always just like, yeah, I feel like being pampered today. Can you do my makeup, please?
Hey, if you can, why not, right?
Yeah.
So you worked at Frightmare Farms.
Yes, I did.
Okay. See, I met
Nicole.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
This over Transworld, she is like a marketing just guru.
She's a rock star.
Oh my God, she freaked me out. She mind freaked me in that I took her seminar at Transworld.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit, because she was like reading people. She's like, it's a party trick I can do. Check it out. So she like just started telling this guy like, this is what you like, this is what you don't like. This is what you're in. I mean, she just went off, and the guy's like, damn. And she's like, how'd I do? And he's like, you're about 90%.
Yeah.
And she did that like to 3 or 4 people, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna raise my hand. I don't want to know.
Do it. It's amazing, and I'm like, come on, get shots at the bar with this trick.
Yeah,
like, let's use this for good.
Yeah, it was crazy how spot on she was.
Yeah, she knows her stuff, and that's why I'm like, I respect the hell out of her because she's amazing.
I told her actually, I said, because I tested her a little bit because she said, call me, I'll answer. Email me, I'll answer. And I'm like, yeah, they all say that. She does. I called her. I'm like, I'm going to call her because she had her number on the paper that she, you got the seminar. So I called her like a week after Transworld, and she answered the phone. I was just like, hey, you don't know who I am. And I told her who I was and everything. And I was like, I took your class. Like, dude, that was the greatest class or seminar I ever took at Transworld. She's like, really? I was like, absolutely. I said, I got more from that one than I've gotten at any other marketing class, any other class, because the way she did it was just so good. So she actually did a meeting with my marketing team.
Oh, really?
Like we did cool. Like a Zoom meeting with my marketing team and her, and just to kind of get some of her thoughts and ideas. I'm like, I'm telling you, this is good stuff. And we got out of that meeting, and they were like, the head guy, he was like, I've got 10 ideas right now. He's like, I'm not going to tell you about them. Let me get them on paper and present them to you. I'm like, okay. And just the way that they've made the changes since we've talked to her, I'm just like, yes, this is good. I love this. Not that they were doing bad, but like, her, you know what I'm saying? But like, just
there's always room for like improvement and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like we're always like in this industry, there's always room to grow and to improve. And there's always so many people that can help you achieve those goals, which is like one of the wonderful parts of this industry.
I really think so. And a lot of people, that's what I try to tell everyone. Like there's a guy in Shelby, Ohio. He's a police officer, and he come up to me. We did this event here for the eclipse.
Oh yeah.
So it was like eclipse in the yard, and you could watch, and it was this whole thing. But he's a police officer, so he'll work my event as a police officer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he opened his own little haunted cornfield.
Oh, cool.
So he's asking me like, different things. I'm like, absolutely, man. Anything I can do to help you out, I will help you. And he was like, can I hang some banners here during? Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, go ahead. So he's going to bring me banners, and I'm going to put them up outside for him. Just to, because it's like, that's just, this doesn't seem like, every industry is kind of competitive, but like it seems this one is more, just kind of family oriented. I know there's some out there that won't do anything, and that's fine. I don't care, but
Yeah.
I'm just not that way. I want to help people out because if they're going to go to yours, they're going to go to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Most people that like, I ask customers too, like when I'm Q acting and whatnot, I'm like, have you gone to any other haunted houses? And they usually say yes. And I said, have you gone to any this season? And most of the time they say yes. So like if you have a good experience at one haunted house,
sure,
chances are you're probably going to go to another one to experience something new and something different. So it's like, it's not like we're taking customers away from
not really
individuals. No. Like if anything, you have a good experience. Now your buddy just got business as well.
Yeah.
Which is like a cool thing to think about. And sometimes people come like to the same haunt like several times during the season too.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
You get the repeat visitors all the time. We get a lot for the warden's widow.
Yep.
They always want to come and see her, and you know, so we get a lot for that. But just the building itself too, we get repeat visitors because of that. So that's, you know, I don't know. I'm in the mindset. It's like you might, because if I help you, you're going to help me down the road. So why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're acting, do you prefer Q line acting over scene acting, or is that what you like better?
Yeah, I'm definitely a Q actor at heart. I started Q acting when I was at Frightmare Farms. That's when they like, I would do it like my very first haunt that I worked at. Like they would let me do it before like my scene, like before they like put the first group on the wagon. I could go and run out and I would play with the chainsaws and stuff because I had so much fun with the chainsaws.
Yeah.
And they let me do that. And so Frightmare Farms, they gave me my first real run at Q acting and it was a lot of fun. Then I went to Akron and my first year, it's like you got to earn your stripes. So. Sure. You know, I was in the house and stuff. And so on the last day, I asked, hey, can I Q act? You know, it's the last day of the season. They said, yeah, that was fine. And ever since then, I've been Q acting since because they're just like, this is where your talents are. So I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for, you know, recognizing that. And I appreciate that. And ever since then, I've been a Q actor and I've loved it ever since. And if there's like days that I'm like sick or whatever, I'll go in the house and I'll run like an animatronic or whatnot. So I'll always try to find like use somewhere.
So you're saying that if you're sick, you still come in and do something, even if you're just a little under the weather. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I love it too much to like, I don't think I've ever like gotten sick to the point where I've stayed home.
Right.
Like even like when I'm doing makeup and stuff, I'm like full masked up. I have my gloves on. I'm making sure that like everything is like sanitary. I'm constantly cleaning stuff because like I don't want to get anybody else sick. But like it would take a lot to get me away from working in a haunted house. There was one season I think it was this past season. I worked at Frightmare Farms one night and drove all the way home, and the next day worked at Akron that night. Yeah. So it was like, you know, a 7, 8 hour drive or something like that.
Really? That far?
Yeah. Just work at one haunt one night, drive home, and then work at my haunt that night as well. So
yeah. You know, I mean, if people are sick, you know, you don't want people in here if they're sick.
Yeah.
You know, we tell them that all the time. It's like, dude, if you're home and you're throwing up,
yeah, if it's like,
don't come in.
That, then I wouldn't come in and stuff. But if I'm like just sniffling, then I'm like, I can run an animatronic. I can run rotten candy. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no problem. You know what I mean? Well, one year, like we've had, God, the one girl, like legit had cancer that worked for us, and she came in and she worked that season, and we told you, it's like, look. You know, I told her, you want to be on the crew? I'll put you as a stoplight. That way she's like, nope, I'm acting. And we're like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm like, but let's just, you know, let's just take it a day at a time. Yeah. She wouldn't have it. Now, she did take some breaks. She's like, can I get a break? Yeah, absolutely. And the zone leader would break her out and, you know, she'd get tired or whatever, but she worked that whole season. Nice. Worked, I don't know if she worked the Christmas show that year or not. I don't think she did, but, she worked the whole season. We lost her, I think, in June. That following June, she passed away. But it's just like a standard where we kind of said it's like, look, we understand, you know, we get it. Yeah. But like we've had so many actors, like even the warden's widow, like she had open heart surgery at the end of the season. I remember that. I remember like some of like the shit comments she got from that because I was ready to fight hands because she's one of my friends and I was like, oh, like let me at them, like let me have them. She came back for and we told her, like me and Brian were just like, seriously, because she did a video on TikTok recently about that, and she's like, so let me tell you about the time I worked the Christmas show after having open. I'm like, now hold on here. You know, I put a comment. I'm like, in all fairness, we told you not to be here. Yeah. You know, and she messaged me going, I know, but I'm going to tell the part 2,
Yeah.
and everything. And I'm just like, 'cause I'm like, bro, it's not like I said, yeah, no, I don't, open heart. That's not an excuse. Get your ass in here.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
No, maybe some of our day jobs where, like,
Yeah.
you're literally dying and passing away, and they're just like, so you can't get your shift covered?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but I mean, she did that and was able to and make the Christmas.
Yeah.
So, it's like when we start hearing about the tummy aches and the,
Yeah.
well, my dog,
My grandma passed away 6 times already this season.
We
I'm
were
sorry.
we were talking about that the last week, I think. How many grandmas do you have? Well,
Yeah.
I was adopted, and plus I was a stepchild. It's like, all right, dude,
Yeah.
whatever. So, for people acting, for actors, you said you prefer cue line acting to scene acting. Kind of explain the difference. Like, how do you approach each one differently?
So, definitely, like, if I'm a scene actor, like, my first and foremost thing is to scare individuals. Like, that's the goal, right? Well, with cue acting, it's a little bit more difficult because you can't always scare someone who can see you coming a mile away. So, it's very much trying to entertain people, and that's why I like my clown character, because I can be funny, but I can also be scary at the same time. And so, I think with scene ones also, too, like, you're doing kind of repetitive things, but it's always nice because, like, I'm one of the trainers there, and so, like, I teach people that, like, if one thing doesn't work, try something else. Like, you're only going to see people for, like, 3-5 seconds anyway, so you might as well just cycle through and try a bunch of things, and then that way you'll know what works, and you have it in your toolkit, and you can use those things, and so you can pull it out. Versus cue acting, a lot of times, like, I'll use props and stuff. Like, I have a horn, I have a baseball bat. This past year, I got a harmonica and an accordion and stuff. I'm gonna learn how to play them though. So, like, this
never
next
seen
year's
an
gonna be
accordion
awesome.
in a cue line, man. I'm sorry.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm gonna actually buy my own accordion and learn how to play some songs. That way, I can actually just, like, pull that out and but it's funny when I'm crawling under the lines with the accordion and then the harmonica in my mouth, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
My feet, and I'm just like, "It's me."
Yeah. That's good stuff, an accordion, man.
Yeah,
that could be scary.
It is when I'm, like, doing it in your face, like, back and forth really, like, quickly.
Because people aren't going to be like, what the hell's happening here? We went to the Nashville Nightmare in Nashville, Tennessee one time.
Oh, cool.
Really cool haunt. This was, it might have been 2017 or 18. I think it was 17. We went down there, and there was this guy, and he was dressed up like an old lady. Okay, and it was the funny, and I mean, he did it great. So he would come up and he would say stuff to us, and we were just kind of like, okay, whatever, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he would say stuff to us, and we just kind of laugh, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there was this guy that was with me, Dan, who works here at the prison, and he said something to him, and then he just stopped and just stared at him.
Just the stare.
And it wasn't like, 5 seconds. We're talking like going on a minute, where we got to the point where we were just like, okay, what I mean? We started looking around like, this dude is like, what is happening here? And he just waited and waited. I mean, I bet you 2 minutes went by and it was just getting awkward as hell.
Yeah.
So we're just like talking, like we just started talking about stuff, and the dude did not move. I swear he didn't blink. I mean, I'm sure he did when we weren't looking, but he's just standing there and he would not move. And then all of a sudden he just goes, rah, and he just let out this thing. We were like, bro, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then he just kind of moseyed on, and started doing his thing. But I was just like, that's different.
That is build up right there.
Oh,
That's
man.
more build up than I've ever seen. I don't think I'd ever do something like 2 minutes long.
Oh,
maybe
dude.
like a few seconds.
It seemed like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we were like, are you dead? What's happening? You stroking out right now? Talk to us, But yeah, he didn't do it. That was some of the cue line actors that, aside from, sliders, do you do that?
We don't have any like pavement area for sliders, unfortunately. Although that would be cool. I would love to like learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just don't really have like the environment for it. I'll
Right.
say.
Well, because some of them like, and the one like even with like we have the widow and the 2 guards, and then we got I don't even know what we really call like her. She's got so many characters. We got Porsche, who does cue line acting with us, and they're all just so different. Like the one guard is just he yells and he's in your face and he makes fun of you, and then the other one is kind of a little more low key, and then the widow she's a very quiet character and she screams. She does her screamer thing, And then Porsche is all over that. I mean, she is a Halloween. She loves Halloween. She's got 900 characters. She's great. So they're just so different when you're out there. And the different places you go, you just see different things. You know what I mean? From like a widow or a guard character to a clown.
Yeah.
And it's just always just interesting to see, or an old lady that doesn't do anything but stare at you.
And it's nice to have those characters because there's going to be like something that a customer is going to like.
Yeah.
Whether they like the quiet character, the more funny character, the more horrifying or grotesque character, like there's going to be something for someone. And that's what I love about Q acting is that like they can be so different, but it works so well because it's just chaos.
So last year, the widow, and when she did this, it was so funny because she comes back in, she was like, oh my God. Because she's usually she's just like walking through and she does her stuff and she's 6'7", so she's real big.
Yeah.
And she's just walking through, does her thing. Well, some kid was dicking with her about whatever and saying she wasn't scary. And I don't remember exactly what, you know how it is.
Yeah,
There's always those, and I don't remember exactly what she did. But she screamed or something, and the kid was like, ah, and he just took off. Well, she decided
to chase after him.
To run after, and she never does that. So she's like, so I hiked my dress up, and I just started running and chasing this guy, chasing him all the way around the building. Yeah. And I'm just like, you did that? And she was like, yeah. I was just like, oh my God, I wish I would have been there to see that noise.
Right? That would have been amazing to watch.
To see just see the warden's widow just like full on running with her. She got back into the lounge area. She's just like, I'm exhausted. I was like, when's the last time you chased somebody in a queue line? She goes, I don't remember.
I know. Like, I do that every now and then, but that's really, like, special occasions. Because then I'm just going to be winded, and people are going to try to talk to me, and I'm just like...
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Can't be scary right now.
I can't be scary when I'm, like, heaving, because I'm just like, oh, God, I haven't run in that long. I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. So what's the difficulty in either acting, queue line or in a scene? Because it's kind of hard to train for what someone's going to say to you. Now, me personally, I'm just like, dude, if someone's an asshole, I just don't even talk to them. I just stop, but like some people just have this natural ability to just quip back. Yeah. Are you in that league?
I'm one of those people, I'm pretty quick-witted that I can usually respond to people like if they say something like pretty mean or whatnot and stuff. But like for like my actors, like I train them not to respond to people like that, just because you never know what somebody is carrying. You never know how much liquor they've had or things of that nature. And it's just like, would always want to de-escalate the situation if possible.
Right.
I'm like, if you feel comfortable that you can give them one backhanded thing, like go for it. Yeah. Like props to you and stuff, but don't let it escalate beyond what it should, just because we always want to keep everybody safe.
So do you jump in when it comes to what an actor does in their scene? I mean, I know you said you train them like for acting, but do you jump in? Like, are you in on that when you're going through a scene? So, guys, so the actor, let's have them do this here. You know what I mean? Like when you're setting up the scene, do you have a say in that?
I'm starting to get more into a bigger role with the actor training. So this past year was the first year that they let me run like the actor trainer session, which was really, really cool. So I was really honored that they let me do that. And so this year I asked, my bosses and stuff like, hey, is it okay if like this year, I go into scenes and, really do hands-on like training and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. Go for it. Be awesome. Like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like this sounds like so much fun. So I'm going to be a lot more hands-on this upcoming season, which is going to be really cool for me. And I'm really excited about that. And then also running an actor training session again. But, just... I try to help where I can, especially like if an actor comes up to me and they say, I'm struggling in my scene, like what are some options and stuff, and I'll give them some like quick like things at the top of my head. I'm like, oh, you can say this or this or this, or like I'll walk around the scene like, interact with this object or do this or whatever and stuff. So usually I can figure out something in the scene for them to do. Although like there are scenes that are like easier than others.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what are your thoughts then on actor dialogue as far as like what an actor says? Because we go to haunts as much as we can. And there's some haunts like, that are the actors are not going to say nothing. They're going to push a button. There's going to be a light. Yeah. There's going to be a noise. They just jump out. Yeah. And, other haunts are very actor dialogue driven. Yeah. Where they interact with you. Where do you prefer? Where do you lie?
I'm kind of like dead in the middle. Yeah. Like I think it should be whatever the person prefers, because you can get a scare out of either end of the spectrum. Like having someone like with good dialogue and stuff, but not everyone's comfortable with that, right? So you want to make sure that the person who's doing the dialogue, they actually sound like they mean it, and they have that like chutzpah behind their voice and stuff. Because otherwise, if they sound like very like, you know, shy and timid and whatnot, that's not going to be scary. So you want someone that has that like gusto behind their voice and stuff. Sure. Versus, you know, some people, they are a little bit more shy and stuff, but they can be really creepy looking like a prop, and they could pretend and be very still and then just start chasing at people. So like the biggest thing too for actors like with training and stuff is whenever I have the question, I always have the question for them, like when you get to your scene, figure out the answer to this question. What are you doing? Because someone is going to ask you. I promise you that during the season, someone's going to ask you, what are you doing? And if you say, I don't know, well, that's not going to do much. So like have some sort of answer to if somebody came up to you and asked you, what are you doing? Because then if you know what you're doing and if you know what type of character you are, then you can kind of pull from your brain of like similar things. Like if I'm a doctor and stuff, I can think of, okay, what do doctors do? What's something that a doctor shouldn't do that I should do type of thing. So you can pull for these like different parts of your brain. I'm getting all psychology, but like there's reasonings behind it.
I think that's great though. I think that realm of it could be so beneficial. You know what I mean? Because you've I'm assuming seen some things where you could be like, I'm going to use that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I study, so my area of expertise is in like social interactions and whatnot. So I study how people like interact with one another. But one of my lines of research is actually studying the haunted attraction industry and working on like worker motivation and retention and like trying to keep like workers happy and keeping them coming back, and like what can we do to prevent like losing such great actors. So that's one of my lines of research that I actually do, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet you that is fun and beneficial.
Yep, definitely love it.
Kind of backtracking a little bit. So how then did you start how'd you get in Akron? How did that happen?
It's actually my PhD program. So I did my master's degree, my associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree in New York, and then I moved to Kent, Ohio for my PhD, and so that's what brought me in the realm of Akron. And it was funny because when I was at Frightmare Farms, Nicole was like, hey, do you want to work in a haunted house when you move to Ohio? I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, where are you going to move? I was like, oh, I'm going to move here. And she's like, okay, cool. I'll get you in touch with John. And like and that's how I got this job.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wonder because I remember when I first met you, it was through The Widow, and I believe you wanted to come through, and she's like, hey, my friend Chelsea wants to come through. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But that was like 2019, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was because you were doing your like not end of the night, but like one of your laps around the place during the night, and you just happened to be behind me. Yeah. And I was dancing through the entire show because I was just having so much fun. And you're just like, what is this person doing? Yeah.
I love to do that. I love to follow a group through just every now and again and just see how they're interacting with people, how the actors are, make sure the actors are doing their jobs, but nowadays it's almost like, because I've got like, I got Jen, I got my zone leaders, and it's really off of me now. Yeah. But it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel a little like, that's why I like doing this, because I'm like, well, it's something else I can do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, I've just got such a good team now that they are it kind of runs itself. Yeah. So I get lost in I'm just going to go through then. Yeah.
Might as well.
See what they're doing. Have
just
some
see what's
fun.
happening on.
Yeah. So, Transworld. 2024. Yes. How was that for you?
It was good. It was busy. I was working the Transworld live booth this year, so I was running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, basically. The whole time, I saw you. It's okay. I'm like, yeah, you saw me in passing because I just kept running around.
Absolutely.
But it was a lot of fun. How about you? How was your Transworld?
Oh, it was good. I mean, I spent too much money. I wanted to spend more.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, there was just so much out there. Like, I think there was just so much new stuff compared to last year that I was like, holy shit, this is like, wow. I mean, some of the stuff, like, there's the go-tos for me that I go to every year. Yeah. But there were some new ones that I was like, this is game changing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there was this, and we talked about it, the 2 podcasts ago when we did like a Transworld review. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I took my 2 tech guys out, and I was like, those Igor controllers. I don't know if you saw those.
I might have.
They were all the way at the end by where the dark area is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of like where the Vortex Tunnel guy was. It was just in that area. and they got these wireless controllers that are like just out. They're still in development. But it's like this is game changing. You can get this like. So we're on like their development team now.
Oh, cool.
To just like I'm sure other people, but I mean that was just something like I heard about it in a seminar. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I got out, I texted my tech. I'm like, meet me at this booth.
Yeah.
And we went straight there, and I'm like, all right, tell us about these. And they were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just like that kind of stuff. And the Chamber Creations, robot guy, the servo animatronic. I was just like,
so
whoa.
much stuff to just geek out on.
Oh, dude, I was. That was like the best Transworld in quite a while.
Oh my gosh, it was huge this year too. It was just like wall to wall, like completely filled. Like they're running out of space. Like that's how packed it was.
Well, and I'm surprised by that too because overall, I think the industry was down a little bit last year. I know we were down numbers wise, but I just heard overall the industry was down. So I'm thinking, oh man, Transworld's going to be rough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it really wasn't. I don't think. And I think that's kind of a good forecast for this season coming up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because I just think haunted houses, they've really taken on a new with the what am I thinking of the extra events that go on throughout the year.
Okay,
like I know you guys do the Valentine's Day.
Yep, Valentine's Day event. We just started doing a Christmas event. So this past year was our first time doing a Christmas event. So that was
the schoolhouse.
At the schoolhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I knew the factory always did one.
Yeah, they
did one too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a family friendly one, and we took on like Scary Christmas.
Oh,
this
gotcha.
Year. Yeah.
So the way Halloween is kind of infiltrating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other holidays, which I love. Yeah. It's just becoming so global.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I think it's not just Transworld, but like IAPA. You know what I mean? Like you can go there, and you could go there and buy stuff, and see what's coming out and everything. It's just becoming so, like I said, global, and it's exciting. You know what I mean to see that.
It's always growing, which is really cool because it's like you think, oh, maybe it might slow down, but no, it just keeps going.
It really doesn't. Even after
really
COVID,
doesn't. Yeah.
Like dude, the year of COVID, we were open. We opened that year, and we couldn't do the whole haunt because it was the whole thing with. Would we be able to open? Because they didn't really say haunted houses could open until like 2 or 3 weeks before we opened.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, well, we can't do the cell blocks because we got to set it up and tear it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just did house, solitary, and then we did a little bit in the bullpen and then the basement.
Okay.
So the big cell blocks were not even in play.
Yeah.
For those years, and we did amazingly. I mean, for a COVID year.
That's awesome.
We were just shocked. We were just like, oh my God, I can't believe we did as well as we did.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really there. And I think people were just ready.
Yeah.
They were just like, all right, take the mask off and get me. But even though there were still masks in play, they were just ready for something.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So at Transworld, you said you were working the Transworld live booth. How'd you get involved in that, and what'd you do?
So I've worked for like Nicole Ginsburg like at Frightmare Farms, but like I continue to work for her for like at like conventions and whatnot. So like I've done help at like MHC. I'm gonna be actually on a panel this year at East Coast, which is gonna be really fun.
Yes.
But I've always done like stuff and like work for Nicole. And so when one of the people who was supposed to come to Transworld Live and work the booth and stuff couldn't make it this year, so they called me up because they said like, hey, we know you, we can vet for you, so like would you be interested in this position? I was like, yeah, sure, this sounds fun, awesome. So I got to work the booth, so I got to help like block people from when they were filming and stuff, but I also got to go like behind the camera, so it was cool. We were like talking about like different booths we wanted to like do interviews at, and I'm like, wait, can we interview my boss, Dave Shong from Close Casket Studios?
Yeah,
like, can we interview his booth, because that'd be awesome. And so we got to do that, and I got to be one of the people to interview him, which was like such a pleasure. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to do that.
Dude, Dave is awesome.
I love Dave.
I fucking love that guy, man.
I guarantee they're probably going to be listening to this on Monday, because I think Tyler, one of our builders, texted me and said, we're going to be blasting this, listening to your episode. I'm like, that's horrifying.
Right? Well, I had Dave in here about a year ago.
Yeah, I watched that episode. I loved it.
Yeah, and it's like, I had to give him the Seth Rogen treatment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, so when did that happen? And he's like, oh my God, but then I told him at Transworld this year, I go, you're not Seth Rogen no more. And he's like, no, who am I? I'm like, you're Hopper on Stranger Things. You look like that dude.
Oh my gosh.
On Stranger Things. He's like, okay. But dude, he is like just one of the greatest guys just to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know, at Transworld or wherever, and just, you know, have a few beers and just chill because he's just super cool dude, you know?
Yeah. And he's a great boss too. I love like working with him and like being around him and like seeing like what his creative mind comes up with is like it's always just so incredible. I'm always blown away by like any like renovations they make at the haunt, which is like it's so cool because, you know, even after all these years, they're still surprising me. Even
Closed Casket, I mean, like them doing the pick your own, like if you do an animatronic, pick your own head. I'm like, dude, that's a great idea.
Yeah, with
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how it went for him, but I'm like, dude, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because your stuff is just so good.
Yeah, it's the collaboration we always needed.
Yeah, for sure. I told him his one pumpkin head with it's tore off and it's got like the skull.
Yeah.
I love that's my favorite one. Is like, you gonna be mad if I tattoo that on me anywhere? And he's like, would you really do that? I was like, dude, this is pretty cool.
You should.
Yeah, I'm like,
I would love for him to design one of my tattoos. I would immediately get it done, like no questions asked.
Absolutely, because it's just I'm like, dude, you got something going on here, really good, and even just the stuff other than the pumpkins, you can just make so much stuff with them. Yeah, and I used all his pieces like hero pieces in the Central Guard Room. Like we did the first year. Last year was the first year we set up Central with a scene. Usually it's just like you come in, you go through Central, and then you go into the attraction. Yeah. But I'm like, nah, let's do a Halloween scene in there. So let's do some pumpkins and
cool.
The one stoplight, she takes credit for it. She was just like, that was my idea. And I was just like, okay. But his pumpkins were like the ones that like the first ones I thought of. Like, we got to go there and get some of them.
Oh, 100%.
And he just foam filled them for me and everything, and they were great. Yeah, I love Dave, man. Yeah. That dude is a good guy. If he's listening right now, then you heard it here.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Matt. Hi, Tyler.
Yeah. I talk to Tyler a lot too, and at Transworld, I talked to Tyler a lot. He bought this one thing at the Creature Corps where I used to work, and I talked to him there. And then I saw Dave and Matt and that video they did.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was like, man, that was the greatest thing ever. Where did that come from? He's like, yeah, we always do. I'm like, dude, that was.
I love their
pure '70s gold
videos.
Yeah,
they bring like something to my heart that I didn't know was missing until I watched those videos.
Yeah, that is good stuff. So. You mentioned the East Coast Haunters Convention. So what are you doing out there?
So I'm going to be on a panel this year. So it's about it's like called balancing acts, balancing like your online self, your professional self, and your haunt self, and just having all these identities. And it's just talking about how like we can have all these different identities. You have your haunt self, your professional self, like for your day job, and then you have your online social media self, and it's like, how do these all interplay, and how do you have like good balance between all of them? So a little bit about that, just talking about like personal lives and things like that, and how they intertwine with our haunt selves, and like where are the boundaries, and like where do you need to like set boundaries, but also like where can you actually collaborate between the two, like how can you actually take skills that you've learned at your day job and apply them to your haunt character.
Yeah. So where does that go for you when balancing your haunt character? Because now, do you have a page, or you're just on that page as you, or is it your character page, like your Instagram?
My Instagram is like, it's called Chuckles The Clown, but it includes like all my characters. So it's like technically me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I don't know if you remember, I texted you and was like, hey, can I use your name on this? Or do you want me to just say Chuckles? Because, like, I know the Warden's Widow, as I refer to her as that, because she doesn't want her name out there. Yeah. Because she gets, there's some weird things that happen. Would you have that same thing?
Honestly, when you sent me that text, I didn't respond for a while because I went back and forth for so long.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I don't know what to say. Because, like, for the panel, like, it says Chuckles the Clown, but, like, in the actual panel, like, I say my real name. And I was like, if I really want to start making these meaningful, like, connections in this industry, I gotta start telling people my real name, I guess. So I was like, you know what, this could be a good way to like put my name out there, but at the same time I'm like, I probably prefer like Chuckles the Clown, but like I don't mind if having like some people know my actual name, because I'm like, at the end of the day, that's what they're gonna refer to me as. Although like at my haunt, like when they're calling me on the radio, they always call me Chuckles. Doesn't matter what character I am, or if I'm not in character, I'm always Chuckles.
Well, yeah, and between like like with me or with Dave or Jen or whoever in the industry, that's one thing. But like a guest who's, from somewhere that, sees you and they're just like, what's your name? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
That's
I've had
you
some
see what I mean?
I've had some creepy
Yeah.
stalkers before, and I've had like some people like even recently someone like somehow they know my name and they kept commenting my name on my post, and I'm just like, I'm uncomfortable with this.
Yes.
And so I'm just like, oh my gosh. So
I don't blame you.
yeah, and I've had people who said like they've driven like 6+ hours
Oh,
to see
man.
me, and I'm like, oh God, don't say
Yeah,
that, because like
yeah.
one, I'm gonna feel like I'm in a disappointment, and I'm horrified because I don't want to disappoint people, but at the
Yeah.
same time I'm like, why did you drive 6 hours to see me?
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing with the widow. They get upset if they don't see her.
Yeah.
There's certain people, well, not everybody, but there's going to be those ones that are, we drove from Pittsburgh to see you, and, and she kind of gives it back, and she's like, it's not about me, it's about the attraction.
Yeah.
I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, that's how it's, so it's like, did you go through the attraction?
Yeah.
Or did you just like stalk around in the parking lot?
like-
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like I see those comments too, and I'm like, I'm always like, I'm like texting her like, do you want me to say something? Because I'll be nasty. That's fine. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if I say something, because like I'm not your page and whatnot. So
Again, it's the balancing of it though.
it's
So
the
you're
balancing
trying to,
though.
yeah.
So like you want to be like that professional self, but at the same time set those boundaries of that. Some people
Yeah,
are
there's
coming
gotta be.
into your space that like it's the self that is not the public self.
Right.
So
yeah.
like even when I've done studies in the haunted attraction industry, and I've actually taken my name off of like the consent forms and just had like my advisor have her names on the consent form, be like, if you have issues, contact her technically instead of me, just because I wanted to keep my name off of it, just because of my social media following that I didn't need creepy
Right.
people following me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where that could get, a little
fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's a gray area, and
It
that's
really
why I'm
is.
like, I'm still just like, I don't know. So I'm like, I'm fine with you, like you said, you using my real name. That's fine. Like, because
Well, mostly industry people are listening to this. You know what I mean? So it's not.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I'm like, the people
Yeah.
that are going to be watching this are going to be like industry
Right,
people that I'm just
exactly.
like, no, please know my name, because then we can like talk at conventions and like this and build
Yeah.
those relationships and that networking.
So when you're doing a seminar at have you done them before?
This is my first.
Oh,
one.
this is your first
This is
one,
my
okay.
first one. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So are you prepping for it? Is it just you by yourself?
It's me. It's gonna be the warden was actually originally gonna be on it, but unfortunately because of work couldn't had to back out of it.
She
So
said you
unfortunately,
had to work.
I felt bad about that. But it's gonna be me, Pongo Joe, and Lucy Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lucy Lucifer is also aka Erica Jones. So she's one of the people who is a spokesperson for the Let's Scare Cancer.
Okay.
So that's really cool. We're going to talk about kind of like Let's Scare Cancer and how balancing that life. And then also she's an operations manager. I don't remember her full title, but like operations manager at Woods of Terror. And then Pongo Joe is a traveling actor who's gone to so many different haunted attractions and have worked in like video editing and things of that nature, and video producing as well and stuff. So we all have like very different things that we have done, which gives us like such a like variability. And so like I think that like makes it better for the panel. That way you have such like diversity among the panel. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm really
that's cool.
excited for it. Yeah.
So you're a first timer.
Yep.
Do you guys just work together as far as what you're going to go over and what you're going to talk? Are you just going to do your own thing individually?
We just got a group chat, and like I think it was literally it was yesterday that we like sat down and we're like, okay guys, what the F are we doing?
What are we doing?
And so like I made the PowerPoint stuff, and I made like the handout paper, and like I was sending it to them, and they're like, you're so fast. I'm like, I'm a college lecturer, so I'm used to doing this stuff. So like my PowerPoint skills and my Microsoft Word skills are immaculate.
There you go.
So I was
Well,
like,
then
I got this, guys.
You need that part of it for sure.
Yeah.
So does that your, like, do you have a regular job working at a college? Is that what you do?
So I'm a PhD student, so I actually get paid through the institution. So one of my things is that I'm technically a graduate teaching assistant. So that's my job title.
Okay.
And so I get paid by the university to actually teach college courses. So right now I'm teaching a course on health psychology, but I've taught things on like research methods, and I've taught like social psychology, which social psychology is my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I'm sure.
And then hopefully...
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So you're going to be like doctor?
And hopefully,
yeah,
1 year I'm gonna be Dr. Chuckles.
Dr. Chuckles.
Dr. Chuckles. Chuckles is gonna get the PhD too, because Chuckles earned it.
You got to make a doctor character out of it. Dr. Clown Chuckles.
Dr. Clown Chuckles.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Something like that. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. So, that just pulling from the psychology end of things is something that I would think you could definitely use and teach to other people.
Yeah.
If you can't see her, but my acting manager Jen's over here. We did this. I wasn't in it, but they were in this class. They told me about it. This was at, I think, HauntCon, wasn't it? Where you had to watch the video and nobody else could see. Nobody else could. This was actually a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So she had to watch a video, but the screen, like if you're the people in the class, she had to come up to where the speaker was and watch the video, and they could only look at her face as far as her reaction to what she was seeing on the video. And I think it was an exercise of reading your group or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's an animal lover. She loves her animals, and I guess there was what was it, a dog running down the railroad tracks, and like here comes a train. And just, like they said, oh no, you could tell she was just like
she's horrified.
Yeah. Now I don't think it like actually hit the dog or whatever, but maybe it did. I don't know.
Maybe I'll use that in my actor training, because I do like for the actor training I do like stuff on like we're learning about like body language and stuff. I'm like, okay, walk from this end to the room and this end of the room. Don't like do anything with your face or whatever, but I want you to walk and tell me that you're happy. Just by me seeing how you walk, I want to see what emotion you are. And then I do like angry and sad. And then I say, okay, I'm going to give you a phrase. And then I want you to say this in an angry way. I want you to say this in this way. And then like act these ways, because then you get a better idea of like, when customers are like closed together and timid and stuff, they're closed off. They're like protecting themselves. They're putting their arms in front of their face, or, they're darting their eyes back and forth because they're looking for the next thing. These are the customers you want to look for.
Yeah,
because these are going to be your victims.
So where do you go as far as like, let's say you find that person that you're looking for, and where's your stopping point? You see what I'm saying? Because it's like some people just they can't let it go, and the person is on the floor, and then you got a confrontation because their boyfriend's like, all right, man. You know what I mean? It's like, where's your stopping point for scaring somebody?
The thing that I tell my actors, and is a big thing for myself, is traumatized customers will not come back.
Yeah.
That is the one thing. We are here to scare them and entertain them. But if you get to them to the point where they're on the floor sobbing, that customer's never coming back. Because I've heard of too many people when I say, hey, I work in the haunted attraction industry, they tell me their horrifying story, and they said, I never went back to one ever since then. Yep. And so you need to know where the line is.
Exactly.
So like also again, this is important, reading body language to show like when someone's like at their edge, knowing like when they're getting there, because we want to make sure that we pull back, and then maybe instead of like scaring them, maybe do something to make them laugh.
Right.
Maybe to bring them out of it just a little bit, like still like be immersed in the scene and what's happening and stuff, but bring them out a little bit so then when they walk out, they're actually happy. And they've actually done studies that people who go through haunted houses and feel like that they've conquered a fear report like the most like positive affect, like positive feelings afterwards. So it is important to, give people that excitement and make them feel like they conquered a fear and stuff. But again, like traumatized customers won't come back. And they even did like another study about people going through haunted houses, and like there's like a curve relationship for like how scary something is and how much you enjoy something, that it's like, if it's not scary, you're not going to enjoy it. If it's too scary, you're not going to enjoy it. That's that sweet spot right in the middle. Yeah. Where it's just scary enough and you're going to enjoy it to the maximum amount.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, and Nicole kind of hits on that a lot, and similar in that seminar I took from her, where she's just like, yeah, we did some advertising, but we put kind of like neon colors on, and you're thinking, why would you do that? Well, because that's going to bring the people that are scared. Oh, they see the neon colors. Oh, this might not be so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, God, I never really, because like normally you're just like blood, horror.
Yeah, just the most disturbing thing ever.
Exactly.
And you're just like, oh, this will get all the people.
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking it from your perspective. Oh, I'd go to that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But just little shy, timid, whoever, high school girl or whatever might not want to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that again, it was just one of those things with her seminar. I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that is. But yeah, the line of where that goes is it's a fine line, I think, but I know, like, because I'm not an actor, you know. I mean, I act on Sundays, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I have fun with it, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
I just started doing it like the last season.
Yeah.
You know, and I had so much fun. I was like, I'm going to act on Sundays now. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, you know, and I'm the owner, so I can kind of just go wherever I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I was just like, I did get a new respect for what actors do. And they're the backbone. I mean, they really are. You can put the coolest animatronic with the greatest artwork or the greatest prop somebody ever made. But that's just a museum type setting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Without the actors in there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, fortunately I haven't been punched or anything yet. But I have definitely tried. I've definitely tried because I'm like, I want to see.
You tried to get punched?
Absolutely. My first night I wanted to see if I could get a complaint.
Oh my gosh, that's
just
funny.
So if somebody did complain, they could call me and then like, we want to talk to the manager. I'm like, all right. You know, then I could roll out there and just be like, what's up? What happened? Who was it? I'll talk to him. You know what I mean? Didn't work. So they're really just kind of, you know, into it so much. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, I'm very, like Jen has been acting with us since the early days and she's a pro. And, just some of the stuff they've went through that we've put them through here. Yeah. It's a grind. It can be at times, you know, so to hear you talk about the psychological end of it, you know, it helps. It really helps, I think, the actor, just the normal actor or a new actor, I guess I should say. Yeah. To give them those kind of examples to where, because I can't tell them that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Talk to your zone leader. I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't you run this? Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But I remember one girl would come to me and she goes, I can't get a scare. I'm like, listen, what did your zone leader? Well, they told me to try that. I'm like, just keep doing it. Yep. You're going to be fine. You're going to get, and then she got her first scare and she was just like, it just clicked.
It clicked.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, got it. And then it's just like, and she's one of our best actors now.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And she's like, she's great. She always wants her makeup to be just right. I mean, she's like into it. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's good though when you get that first scare and you're just like, yes. Yep. You know, you get that boost of confidence and someone can break through walls, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse, how was last season for you guys?
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I mean, the rain sucked, but other than that, like, it was so much fun. It was a great season, wonderful turnout. We're just happy to see everyone and do it all over again.
So on a real note here, let's be real. Yeah. What's it like really working for Dave and John?
It's awesome and chaotic, and I love it. And it's like, it's cool now because like me like becoming like actor trainer and stuff, like this is all recently new, and I'm so incredibly thankful for these opportunities because I've been bugging Dave like since day one, just like, is there room for me to grow here? Because like I want to do something more, give me something more. So like the year before it, like they let me be a manager for one of the nights, and of course the night that I'm a manager, someone passes out, just like drops dead basically, and just like faints in the middle of like this really really tiny hallway, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, they're like, all right, Chelsea, go ahead. I'm just like, what are we doing? I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, of course this happens to me. But like getting those opportunities, I've just been so incredibly thankful. And so like for me, like being in a place where I'm like managing and stuff now, I finally feel like I'm where I need to be. Yeah. Like it feels, cool. It's so much fun. I like being able to work with the other managers and to like collaborate and to like make sure that we are giving like the best show possible. And then I love being able to do all of it while being Chuckles, like cue acting and stuff. So I'm not like giving up anything that, you know, like my cue acting and whatnot, which is super fun, but I also have some more responsibilities, and I'm the kind of person, like, I'm a high need for cognition person. Like, I need to use my brain. Yeah. And so, like, this is perfect for me. So I've just I've been like cloud nine working for the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. Like, I don't want to leave. Yeah. So I might try to find a job in Ohio, so we'll see. Oh, yeah? So once you're done with your schooling or whatever? Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I imagine that would be hard, especially when you're so ingrained in that haunted distraction to think about going somewhere else. I know. I'm just It'd be kind of like, no, because then I'm gonna have to start from square one again. I'm like, oh no. No, you don't want to do that. Yeah. We're not teenagers, man. Come on. Yeah. Well, yeah, I haven't been up to Akron in quite a while. Actually, the last time I went up, I was picking up my stuff from Dave. We just met at the schoolhouse. Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's such a great historic place. It's reminds a lot of like the building here. I mean, two different buildings, of course, but it's just an older building.
Yep.
And it's got a lot of history behind it, which I think a lot of the times venues are an important piece. If you can find a really good venue, I think that helps. And I think like old schoolhouses, even like Dent Schoolhouse down in Cincinnati, those kind of places are just like, they thrive, I think, for a Halloween attraction.
They're awesome. I got to like visit Pennhurst, like a tour not too long ago. And
they're on East Coast this year, right?
They're on East Coast, and I'm so excited.
So you're going on the tour?
Yes.
All right, sweet. So am I.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
we're
cool,
all going to be there. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to see Pennhurst like in full swing, and I'm like, I'm so excited because even just behind the scenes, just seeing it without any actors or like anything, like. Oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful building, and I'm just like, I cannot wait to see it like in full swing. It's going to be awesome.
All of them are going to be great, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but the only one I didn't get was the I think it's a daytime thing though at
the Eastern State Penitentiary.
I didn't get that.
Same thing. I was like,
I want to go there so bad.
I thought about it, and then I'm like, I am an insomniac. I'm probably going to need my sleep.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, maybe I'll just do something with my buddies during the day.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe if there's a day we can go when it's just open. I don't know how that works. I got to look into their, to see what like touring stuff they do. But I definitely want to check it out.
Definitely, yeah.
Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
So, are you going to go so you're going to the haunt tours, and I think there's a party at Otherworld.
Yep.
Which I think I'm going to check that out too, just because Otherworld in Columbus is killer.
I've never been to Otherworld before, and I need to.
You do.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because I need to do this.
But I heard the one in Philly is even better.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
So
I'm so excited now.
Yeah. So you are going to that?
Yes, I am.
All right, sweet. So we're going to that too.
Okay, cool.
And that's going to be fun because, dude, just Otherworld is in Columbus. Like the first time I went, it's like, man, this is just crazy. Like you just walk in, like the one area you walked into like I think it was a locker.
Yeah.
It's like you open up the locker door and you're like, oh shit, this is the way in. And then you like go in through the locker, and next thing you know, you're in this giant mirrored room and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Like I've seen like the pictures, I've seen the videos, and I'm just like, I want to experience it like so bad. It looks so cool.
It's just another realm of, because like you can even go in there. The main thing on like going to places like that and other haunted attractions is just the inspiration.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just seeing like, that is cool. How could we incorporate that at ours?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not ripping people off, but like just like, we could do something like this in our cell blocker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah.
Do you like to go to other haunts to get that kind of?
I like doing that. Yeah, because also too, if you go to haunts that are far enough away, it's not like you're gonna be stealing customers from them or anything like that. And like a running joke that me and the warden have, that's like, she has obviously her famous scream that she does. And I have a similar scream because she like kind of taught me like how to do it a little bit. So I call it my discount warden scream. So I'm like, it's the scream that you got if you bought it from wish.com, basically.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I usually like call it that. And it's funny because some people like in the comments, they'll be like, you're just stealing it from her. I'm like, no, she literally knows that I do it. And like we make jokes about that it's my discount warden scream.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Comments. Don't get me started on the comments section.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. Sometimes it just gets to the point in that comment section where it's like, you know what? I'm banning you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I am just done with you.
Yeah.
You
ever have someone say something just like so incredibly stupid that you're just like, I don't know how to respond to this without like sounding like an asshole.
I'll get people that'll screenshot stuff and send it. Every time I get a screenshot to this day.
Yeah.
It could be from anybody.
Yeah.
If I like, you see that preview, your preview pops up on your phone and it's like screenshot. You can tell. I was like, oh, fuck.
You're like, what
the hell is this? And it's always a stupid comment like, the warden's widow screamed at me and then stabbed me with her. It's like, yeah, so what do you want me to tell you?
The things that like people have said that like I've heard customers be like, oh, this person like spit on me or licked me. I'm like, no, they did not. Or like there was one person who was like,
happening.
At one place I went to was complaining because they said it was not sanitary because the person was like drooling or whatever and stuff. It was all fake. It was just part of the prosthetic.
Yeah.
And I was laughing my ass off because I'm like, no, that was fake, you idiot.
We had in our one walkthrough, it was hysterical. I think it was the fire walkthrough because we usually do a fire walkthrough and then the codes, building and codes will come through.
Yeah.
Every year before we go through for ink or even regular seasons.
Yeah.
But we did this hallway down in our basement, and Brian Dembski had painted it.
Oh, okay.
And just to make it, like, we're looking like you're going down into the basement and everything.
Yeah.
So he did his thing on the walls and everything. And I'm like, dude, that looks amazing. And, I got to do our fire walkthrough now. And so we were doing our walkthrough and the guys were walking through and they were like, you guys got a mold problem going on here. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm just like, they're like, yeah, it looks like you got some mold on the wall. I'm like, okay. And I was just like, no, we made it look that way. He's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's supposed to be
fake.
like that. Yeah.
That's so funny when that kind of stuff happens.
It is. It is kind of funny, but it's like, come on, man.
Like, yeah.
You gonna leave mold on the walls?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an old building, but shit.
Yeah.
So what are your 2024 haunt season plans at the schoolhouse?
That's a great question. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Still gonna chuckle it up and.
Still gonna chuckle it up. I feel like Chuckles needs a revamp, so I'm potentially thinking about doing something else with Chuckles a little bit, just because like every so often I'll do something, like whether it's change her makeup a little bit or change her outfit a little bit. So like do something. So I've been like itching to like do something a little bit because we're also gonna be on the Legendary Haunt Tour this year.
Yes.
So we're super excited about that. So like everyone's just like ready at the helm of just like, okay, this is gonna be the season, this is it and stuff. So been going to like seeing a lot of like Alan Hopp's like seminars and stuff to like get better at like actor training stuff. So gonna try to help that be more hands-on this year. Obviously bring Chuckles out. Maybe some new characters will come out. We're not sure, but I'm always open to whatever they want to throw at me.
That is the ultimate test when you talk like a Legendary Haunt Tour or the pre-show tours that they do, like for East Coast coming up or at Midwest. It's like, so these are other haunters that are coming through.
Yeah.
So you better be ready.
Yeah.
Because they're ready. You know what I mean?
I need to like go through like the whole like training with like the actors being like, you're not gonna scare anyone tonight. I'm promising you that like right now. Like,
don't take it personal.
They might touch the walls and stuff. They might touch the props. Yeah. They're allowed to. That's okay. Because they're not gonna break anything.
They know the score.
Yeah.
We went through did the Creepy World and or no, not Creepy World. That wasn't open. It was Lemp Brewery.
Oh yeah.
In St. Louis. It was good.
Yeah.
And then the Darkness.
Oh, I went through the Darkness. Darkness is cool.
It was. I mean, it was that place is wall to wall.
It truly is.
It really is.
It's like it was so much, and like you walk in a room that like it doesn't seem like that big and stuff, but they have it just jam packed with so much stuff that it's like you're no matter what you're doing and where you're looking, you're always seeing something new and different, and it's really cool.
Aside from
really
that
awesome.
little break in the like where you go up the steps,
to
go to the next level, the next attraction. Aside from that.
Yeah.
But everything else was just when you're in line. I mean, the whole thing is just wall to wall. Like there's a texture on the walls everywhere. There's a prop everywhere.
Yep.
And they done a lot of new stuff. But we went to this one. I was telling you, Nashville Nightmare. Just talking of the inspiration side of things. And I still want to do this somewhere.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out how they've done it yet. We walked into this room. It was like a library type scene, if I remember correct. So there's like a bookshelf. And then there was this girl, and she was, I don't know, she was just an average sized girl, I guess.
Yeah.
But she was wearing like this, maybe it was like a dress, like a librarian type dress.
Okay.
And she had this really cool makeup on. She had these really cool contacts, and I'll never forget. She had blonde hair, and it was kind of, just all grungy,
like mangled and stuff. Yeah.
And it looked really good, and I was just like. Okay, and we saw her, and she just like she had like teeth.
Yeah.
She went the whole way, and she raised her arms up like this, and she just started floating, like in front of this book, and I was just like, "What the hell?" And I like walked up behind. I'm like looking over here, like, what's going on? You could see she had some sort of harness on behind her, and it was like carrying her up the wall, and it was because it just looked like she started levitating. I was just like, "Bro, that's cool. That is off the hook. How the hell did you do that?" And I'm sitting there and everyone's pushing me. I'm like, hold on. I'm trying to like see.
Trying to figure out what's the contraption behind it. Like, how do you do this?
But that was something that was like, holy shit, that is pretty badass.
That's cool.
And it's probably something really simple to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is, most of it is when you think about it.
Yeah.
But, I love going to I love going to haunted houses and just seeing, like, would have never thought of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You can always get inspiration from
some,
like, all of their haunted houses or like actors or stuff. And that's what I like kept saying like this whole podcast. Like there's so much room for growth and it's so awesome. Like we can learn so much from each other and I love that.
Yeah, and there's still like just your go-tos like chainsaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like everyone's just like, and then they chase them out with the chainsaw, right? It's like, well, yeah, but
it works.
That's what works. You know what I mean? It's like
I
get a lot of
it's so much fun.
I'm gonna pick on her a little bit, like. So, if you weren't here, I wouldn't have said anything. Jen we did a backwards year one year, like the last day of the season, we ran the haunt backwards.
Oh,
so
okay.
you went in through the exit, and then we came out, and she was the doll character up in the house, and that's what she's been like for the duration of working for us. And like we had this chainsaw, and it had like it was like a 20-inch bar on it. I mean, it was huge, and she's just tiny, so she's like running around with this chainsaw, and I like walked in and saw it, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? This is the funniest shit ever. So then we got her that real little one. And I think it was like, here you go. That's more your size. But they
funny.
work even with a tiny little doll. People are just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and they'll run because it's like it's a timeless thing.
Yeah.
And it goes with Halloween with your Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
You know, but it works. Loud noises and you know that thought of, oh my God, is it real?
Yeah.
You know, or clowns. And as much as I hate, because like we've got this thing here, like. The Warden's Widow is not a fan of clowns.
Oh, I know that. It's funny. That's why I'm surprised that we're still friends.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, and it's just kind of funny because I'm like, she's like, so what are we doing with the clown area this year? I'm like, what do you mean, what are we doing with it? You know what I mean? But it's like, here's the thing. It's not, and I'm honestly like, clowns don't scare me. Clowns don't freak me out. I've never been that haunted house guy where it's like, dude, the clowns, but there's so many people.
Yeah,
definitely. It's like what's it called? The phobia.
Chlorophobia.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a fear of clowns, and and people might not even say they have that, but they're just legit afraid of clowns.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. You know, and sometimes it's hard to get people to understand that, where it's like it's about the guest and what they're scared of.
Yeah.
So if they walk through the West Cell block and they see all the, like, we have an apocalyptic land over there, and then the prison scenes. Okay, that they're like, oh man, that's scary. But when they walk into the clowns, and they're like, holy shit, there's clowns.
Yeah.
Because they don't think about that coming into a prison. There's not gonna be clowns in here.
Yeah.
Well, there are, and they're inmate clowns. We got them in like inmate garb, and you know, and we tell the story. Because like I can make up any story you want to make it make sense. Yeah, you know. So it's like we'll do that, but it's a thing where. And I think now clowns maybe, I don't know, aren't as relevant as they were so much as maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you remember like 2016 where like people were dressing up as clowns and just walking down. Did we just collectively forget about that? Because I think about that often where people are like,
it was everywhere.
Stalked by clowns. I'm like, we're just going to bypass this and like not even address that this happened.
Yeah, and it's, you know, but it's still relevant and it still works and people still just... You know, and they and it's expanded to, you know, not just, you know, clowns in haunted houses, but I remember it might have been 26, but they were walking around like, oh, there's clowns walking around and they're gonna come to your windows, and it's just like, you know, I'm like, let them come to my window. Go ahead, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? But it's like, it was just funny how that like almost a urban legend happened with those. So it's like. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have that?
Yeah.
You know, in your haunted attraction. I mean, it's what scares people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the business we're in. Mm-hmm. You know.
It's what works. So, I mean, give people, like, work to the masses. Like, if the majority of people have this fear, then work with it.
It's always, at the end of the day, it's always, you know, what the guest wants. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's always good to talk to your guests. Like, what did you like? What did you not like? You know, ideas from like we'll tell all of our people, if you got an idea, put it on paper, throw it on my desk.
Oh, very cool.
You know what I mean? Because it's like I can't think of everything.
Yeah.
You know, we can't think of it all. I mean, we got a good team here, but it's like, you know, it's like, sure, what do you got? Yeah. Tell me your idea.
That'd be cool.
And I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but you know what I mean? But I'm all ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how we try to run it as well, because it's like, I'm not going to shit on somebody for their ideas unless it's really, really bad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Unless it deserves it.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, seriously. We did what was an April Fool's joke this year on our page.
I saw that. I was cackling.
Ultra or super touchpads where you get thrown from the third tier. You know, and it was all from a comment that somebody made. Actually, it was somebody that works here. And I'm like, that is good. You know what I mean? That's really good.
Oh, I showed that to everybody I knew. I was like, look at this. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah. And then, of course, you had all the comments. Goes, I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'll do that shit.
Everyone was saying, I want this. And I'm just like, wait, you guys might actually have to.
Yeah. There's no waiver for that one, dude. Sorry. We actually got, that's like the worst thing you would think you would see here.
Yeah.
Is somebody on the giant tier just falling. But we actually got to watch that one time.
Oh, really?
They shot some movie here with
okay.
Sylvester Stallone and Dave Bautista. It was like Escape Plan is what it was called. I was looking at I was looking at the movie reel going, what is it on that one? I don't think it's on that one. But there's a fight scene in that movie and it's on the top tier in the West Cell Block.
Yeah.
And Stallone throws a guy off.
Oh, okay.
And we got to stand there and like they had these boxes that were probably like maybe 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. So it was just, it's what it looked like anyways. A stack of boxes. And it went almost up to the first tier. And then on top of that box, those boxes, there was like a pad about maybe that thick, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, somewhere in there. So that guy, like we were watching, and he's like, you ready? He's like, yep. All right, 3, 2, 1. And he falls. And we're like, I mean, it was just like instant. We're like, oh my God. And he hits it, and all the boxes kind of just collapsed.
Yeah.
You know, and he hit that, and then like
cool.
3 or 4 people ran up. You okay? You okay? He's like, yep, I'm good.
Oh my
and
God.
he just rolled off. And he's like, all right, take 2. And he went back up, and we're just like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh, gotta watch this again.
Yeah. But that would be the ultra touch pass right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw you off.
Yeah.
Land on some boxes. You're good.
Yeah. Just walk it off.
We had some people that I legit got a message one time asking if we could put a dog collar on them and shock them if we would do that.
I mean, I'll do it. $20 is $20. So.
I guess so. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that. You know, I don't know where that's going.
Yeah.
But no, we don't do that here. You know, we just touch we have a touch pass, and it was you know, we do it for just a little extra intensity for the people that want it. You know, but no, we're not. What is that? No, we're not. What is that movie called? 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh. we're not getting into the BDSM stuff.
We're not gonna do that. Because this guy's like, I want a leather with this. I'm just like, bro. I'm like, stop texting, please. Yeah. You're freaking me out.
This number.
Yeah. No, that was he was messaging the Blood Prison.
Oh, he was.
One of those socials.
Oh
and
my
I'm just
gosh,
like,
that's funny.
Come on, dude. No, man, we'll scare you. You're scaring me. Get out of here.
Yeah. Who's supposed to be scaring who right now?
Yeah, exactly. But you'll come through all those kind of people, and but that's what makes it interesting to me, anyways. Is you know, just meeting all the new people. Like we had some people that, and I don't know how, like the widow had said that some people had come from England to see her.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's just wild.
Yeah.
To think about, like, some people are coming that far to come to a haunted house and see a certain character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Yeah. And we talked to some people from Australia that had come here, but they were like in Ohio for some reason, and then they heard about it, and then it was like, you know, hey, well, let's go to the Shawshank prison. Oh my God, they do a haunted house.
Yeah.
And they did it.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so that was kind of cool, and I got to talk to them. But it's always kind of rewarding when you get those people from far away that have never been to a haunted house, or like from a foreign country even.
Yeah.
Where they were like in that situation, no, we've never been to one.
Because they don't, like, it's not as big overseas.
Not as big as it is here,
like, it's starting to, like, blossom a little bit. But, like, I remember there was one time my stepfather, he had a friend from Germany come into town.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had been working at the first haunted house that I worked at, the Haunted Hayride. And I got back, and they're like, oh, where were you? And I'm like, oh, I was at the Haunted Hayride. And the guy looked at me, he's like, Haunted Hayride? And I'm like, yeah, like haunted house? And he's, like, looking at me, like, really weird. I'm like, it's like, boo, ah, ooh. Like, I was trying to, like,
how does this translate
I was
to
like,
you?
how does this translate? I was trying, like, to, like, come up with, like, ways to, like, translate. And then eventually he's like, oh, okay, I don't know if he actually got it. But I was, like, trying so hard to, like, this is what I mean. But because they just don't have that over there. Like, not that many. It's not as big over there. So it's, like, it was hard for, like, the language barrier was really intense right there.
We had the Spider-Man guy come through. They were shooting a movie in Cleveland.
Tom
Holland.
Oh, okay.
And it was they hit a couple. I think they hit Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, and they hit us, and then they hit Ghoul Brothers, I think. or the 3 they hit that night.
Oh, cool.
But the director of that movie was Joe Russo, who directed Endgame, and so they came down here for a haunted track. The Russo brothers are from Cleveland originally, so they shot that movie in Cleveland. It's about a Cleveland guy. It's called Cherry, and Tom Holland was the star of the movie.
Yeah,
and he had never been to a haunted house before. So Joe Russo, who's I guess a big haunt guy, got to come down here, and Tom Holland is British, so and he's like, he had his head shaved for this because he was like an army guy.
Okay.
So he just looked like another kid, and of course I didn't tell any of the crew that they were coming through because I didn't want it, to be weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of a major celebrity who's coming through, so it's like, we'll keep this under the hat until after, you know what I mean? But he had never been to a haunt. Like, we were the first haunted house he had ever been to.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was just like, oh, this will be cool. Well, they got touch passes. So not only has he never been to a haunted attraction.
He's never been to a touch haunt.
He's never even been to a touch haunt.
Oh, no.
So, honestly, to be 100% truthful with you, I was on eggshells the whole time. I was just like...
I can imagine.
Because this guy is like Spider-Man. He's arguably one of the most famous people in the world. And here he is, and we get to touch him.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about this idea, you know, but I'm like, all right, whatever. So there was a group of, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 people. So it was like Joe Russo and Tom Holland, and then co-stars of this movie. Yeah. Which I can't remember. And then I think there was like a couple of crew guys that was with him. But so Joe Russo like pulls me to the side. And he's like, hey, can you radio ahead to your crew and tell them to really go after Tom? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, I can, but you really want me to do that? And he was just like, oh yeah, he's scared out of his mind. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting there just like, gonna get sued. It's gonna be horrible. Some Hollywood lawyer's gonna come after me for breaking Tom Holland. I'm
my gosh.
I'm like, look, dude, I go, if you want me to do that, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But like when I tell them that, then they go after me. It's like, oh yeah, it'll be great. I'm like, okay, God damn it, we should have had a waiver just for them.
Yeah.
You
had an extra waiver.
So I radio ahead. I'm like, all right, guys. First group's coming through. Purple touch pass. That's the one you want. And, I'm thinking maybe they're busy enough. They won't catch. They were like, yep, we got it. And I was like, oh, damn.
Damn it.
Yeah. But they went through, and boy, they let him have it. And so when you go through the house and then solitary, you get down to the bullpen, which is our first kind of like break where we re-cue everybody.
Yeah.
We done? He was like, oh, we're done. We're done. And I was just like, no, bro, I'm sorry. We're not done. We're not even halfway yet. He's just like, oh my God. But by the time he got to the basement, he got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was having a blast, and he had a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was cool to see, not just because he was famous, but like to see those first timers.
Oh yeah,
they come in, especially someone from another country.
Yeah.
You're just like, this has got to be so wild to them.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell do you do this for?
You guys do this for fun?
Oh yeah, isn't it fun? Come on now,
That's why like one of the things I study is like occupational stigma, and like basically us like people stigmatizing people like us for having these jobs because we're seen as sadistic, immoral Satanists, basically. So.
Wow. Well, you might be partially right on that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but like a healthy amount, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm a little immoral. A little bit. You're not like analyzing me while we're doing this.
No,
God, I hope not.
Not my kind of psychology. Don't worry. Like some people are just like, oh, you're gonna be a psychologist. You're gonna be a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Don't tell me about your problems. I don't care. I'm just gonna.
Not a bartender.
I'm gonna do a study on you and manipulate you though.
Yeah, there you go.
So that'll be the fun part.
That's good stuff. No, that was fun though. And when you see those new people coming in, it's just like, at a prison. Yeah. You're just like, oh, fresh fish coming in. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. So how long have you been an actor at a haunted attraction? What are we looking at here?
I think this past year was my 7th year because it was 3 at my first haunt and then 1 at Frightmare Farms and then 3 now at Akron Haunted Schoolhouse. So
that's cool.
Yep.
That is cool.
So many years.
Yeah.
and it's always supposed to be 1 season. And then I was like, oh, got hooked.
They fly.
Yep.
I mean, I just think back to my first year here was 2017. I'm like, holy shit, we're going on 7 seasons. That's just wild.
It's insane to think about. Like, time really does fly.
But it's when you're having fun. I mean, it's
exactly.
When you're having fun doing something, you're like 7 years in, you're like, holy shit, where'd that go?
Yeah.
I'm old enough. I don't need to get any older.
I'm ready for the next 7 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to do the job when you're, like, this is what we do. You know, we're one of the select few that can, full-time job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because, like, my whole crew is just like, can't we just do the haunt 24/7? I'm just I
right?
wish.
Yeah.
Because, those year-round haunts are, I just don't see how those would function so well. But, that's why I love the off-season events.
Yeah.
That's why I love them. Because, like,
they're nice. They give you a little fix before it's time for season and whatnot, and I love that.
just when you're getting rusty, you can knock the rust off.
Yep.
We do a Christmas show here, and then we do Incarceration. And that's a lot of fun. And then just the regular haunt season, because it's kind of tricky here with the reformatory because there's tours and ghost hunts and stuff like that. Yeah. So you can't do them all the time. But looking at the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse, and is it this year coming up or was it last year, like the 50th year?
Last year was our 50th year.
Do they have any pictures of like year one?
I think they do.
That would be so cool to see.
If next time you're up, like we have hallways that like have like pictures through like throughout the years and stuff. Like I can imagine there's got to be maybe one from year one. Like I see pictures all throughout the walls of like all throughout the years, and it's like 13, 25, 36, 42 or whatever and stuff, and you just see them all throughout the time. Which is
it would have been 73, 1973.
My math is not great. So.
Well, I'm 48. I turned 48 last year. Okay. So it would be, and I was born in 75, so I'm thinking it would have to be in that range somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, wow, I would love to see a picture just from like, here's 73 to 2023.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the difference in not only costuming and like just makeup and actors.
Yeah.
To set design and,
Yeah, it's so cool to see like some of the pictures are like of like the old timey like makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
Where, everyone was wearing like the cream makeup, right?
Yep.
Like everyone had like the big black circles and like the white face, cream face, and like that was basically it. That was the whole makeup. And now it's like it's evolved so much and it's so insane, and like just to see like how far we've come. Like you ever see that like trend on TikTok? It's like things that would like make a Victorian boy like pass away. Like nowadays, if you brought like a Victorian boy in today's time, haunted houses would make that kid pass away.
Oh, he'd be done.
Yeah.
So on the makeup end things, real quick, I meant to ask you earlier. So when you do makeup, then yes. Mm-hmm. So do you guys do airbrush up there?
Yes, we do airbrush.
So that's what we do here. Is like basically airbrush. It's probably 95%.
Yeah.
I mean, some things here and there, but like how do you like doing the airbrush? Did you have to transition from like straight makeup to an airbrush, or did you always do it? It
was like the first haunt I worked at, I did makeup out of my kit for the longest time, and that's how I did makeup. And then they bought me an airbrush. They said, basically, F around and figure out how to use it. I was like, okay, sure, I'll do that, guys. And so I started to kind of figure it out. Then I had the year at Frightmare where I didn't do makeup. And then Akron, it was like my first time. I was auditioning for the makeup team. Yeah. It was my first time. I haven't used an airbrush in forever, but it actually came out decent. And then I was like, okay, I got the job, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, right.
I'm still always working, looking to like make my skills better and stuff. Like our makeup manager, Gabrielle Frank, she's amazing at airbrush. And like I keep constantly like looking over at her, be like, okay, what is she doing? Because I want to do whatever she's doing, basically. So I think we're going to do like some classes for our artists this year. Yeah, and I think even Dave is going to teach some of the classes too. So we're going to learn from Dave Shaw, which will be amazing. But always looking to like get better with my skills, because I'm like, I definitely like feel like I'm pretty competent and stuff. Like I'm at, like this past year I was definitely the one who was always fixing the airbrushes, so I knew how to fix them pretty well. So we kept like we changed like paints throughout the season, and like I think the paints like when we changed them, they started clogging things and whatnot, and so we had like a lot of issues at one point where like everyone's airbrushes started not working. I was like, okay, I'll fix it. I'm on it, guys. And so I'm running around, I'm fixing all the airbrushes while still trying to do like my makeup, like going in between. So it was a lot of fun. It was chaotic, but it was great.
Yeah, that always seems to be like the learning curve is, because like I've said this year, I'm like, dude, I think this is the best makeup team we've had. Yeah. Because they just all took to it so well. But like when it malfunctions, they're just like,
what do I do? Help.
Airbrush not go. They're just like, not working. Help. So then Matt has to go over and do it. Matt Seals, our head makeup artist, and that dude is just wow. He's also a tattoo artist. But he's spectacular.
You did that spotlight on him post on recently, right? Yeah. I remember I was reading that. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I didn't know he did tattoos, because I'm like, now I know who to go to get a tattoo.
He did that one. My Indian guy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I know where I'm going for my next tattoo then.
Oh, dude, he's great. I think he works at, what's it called, Reflection Room or something like that up in Avon.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where he's at. But
Cool.
dude, he's just an all around great artist. Makeup artist, yes. Airbrush, yes. Tattoos, yes. But like just watching him downstairs, we did it was for ink one year because we don't like the cell blocks aren't open. We keep all the clowns in the one cell block.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's do this dark room downstairs in the one room. So we did these clown. We just basically just did a clown maze. Is all it was, just to have some clowns. And he painted these. God, I wish I had pictures to show you, but he painted these clowns on the walls down there, and I was just like blown away. And it was all for black lights and everything.
Oh, cool.
And
cool.
and he's just down there, just like he's just. I can't
they
do
do
that.
it so effortlessly.
And it's like,
I hate that. I get
it's
like
just
jealous.
In them. Yeah, it's just in them. You know what I mean? They can just do it. And he's like showing the one clown where he's like smoking a cigar, and like he's got the cracks in his nails, and the cigar is just flaming in the smoke, and it's got all the embers, and I mean it's just so detailed. And I was just like, bro, off the hook. Artists are amazing. Yeah. Like on that sense where it's just like the vision that they have.
Oh, 100%.
Aside from the skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, dude,
I could take it out of their brain and just put it into real world, and it's like, all right, show off.
Yeah, I know, right? It is.
I'm
just
like,
kidding. Oh, look at you. But he does all of our drawings and everything, and it's just amazing to watch people that can do that stuff. Just to watch them work.
Yeah.
You know, I watched at the old shop. I would watch my buddy Gino, who I've had on here. He worked on tons of movies, Walking Dead. He worked on a ton of stuff, but like I got to watch him firsthand, just like take a couple big bricks of clay.
Yeah. You
know, and I'd be like, hey, Gino, what you doing? Oh, we got to make this whatever, these vines and these tendrils and this guy with it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I came back like 20 minutes later, and it's already starting to like become that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, bro, what? So then I start watching, and I'm like, dude, you don't mind if I watch? He's like, no, go ahead. And he's just doing it, and I'm just like, how the hell do you do that?
Yeah,
one of
my friends, she's a scenic artist. She's actually the other candy striper. Her name's Mel Amigo. She actually did some costume dressing for you.
Mel.
Yeah. And we had a painting day the other day because we were both on spring break for school. And like I just kept looking over, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Oh my gosh, that looks so cool. How are you doing this? And I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna paint my little thing over here. Just hope she doesn't look over. But like,
don't watch me.
Just incredibly talented. Like so many people, so many different mediums too. Just like whether it be airbrush or painting and stuff. It's just so cool to watch artists do their work.
To watch them work. Even music. From music to painting.
Yeah.
You know, those people that are just into it and can do it effortlessly is just, it's amazing to watch. Yeah, Mel was like, I forget who told me about her. It might have been the warden's widow.
It was because she contacted me.
Is that what it was?
Yep, she contacted me and was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that does costuming?" I'm like, "I think my friend does, so I can get you in touch." Yeah.
Because we had a bunch of, I think they were just inmate type jumpsuits. Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm just running out of time. Can you do this? Yeah, and you know, I think I shipped them to her, and she distressed them for us and painted them, and they look great, and we still got them, and. Saved the day that time, so we just didn't have to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, I met her, I think when I went up to pick up my stuff from Dave. That's when I actually first met her, aside from just texting and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, you just meet so many people in this world where it's like, how are you not doing something more? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like the level of artistry that some of these people have. Oh, yeah. You know, and I am. I mean, you know, you could say jealous, I suppose, but I am, because it's like, man, I wish I could do. Yeah. I wish I could store in my pinky what you have throughout you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Well, Chelsea, I gotta say, it's been an honor having you here.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Me. Yeah, absolutely. I've been meaning to reach out to you to see if you'd want to come down, but we kind of stopped doing them for a while because we just got so busy, and again, it's been. Such a crazy time where there's no downtime. It really seems like anymore, where it's like before it's like, okay, January through May, we're not doing a whole lot, but nope, not anymore. Yep. Now it's just, it's expanded so much, but so we had to stop doing a few of them, but we've been kind of kicking them in, and I'd actually reached out to the widow and was just like, hey, think Chelsea be down for it? And she's like, I think she would. And that's when I saw you at Transworld. So thanks for coming down, man, for real.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And make sure, don't be too nice to Dave. Make sure and bust his balls a little bit, because I think
do every now and then.
Next time on the Shakedown, we're gonna have This one, after this one, we're gonna have somebody from, I believe, Pittsburgh coming in from new haunted attraction out in Pittsburgh. But we're gonna hold off for a little while because we're gonna go to East Coast Haunters Convention, where I know we're gonna see you there.
Yep, you're gonna see me there. We'll
Absolutely.
party together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hell
We'll do something
We'll do
for
some
sure.
shots.
Yeah. So make sure and check that out. That's the first time, I think, this year is the first East Coast Haunters Convention.
Yep, this is the first year.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pretty excited for the haunted attractions that they're going to be opening. And I'm not on a bus. We're actually doing the driving thing.
I'm doing that too.
Yeah, so, but we'll see you there.
Yeah.
And thanks again for coming down, and we'll have to do it again.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, Chelsea.